The Lakers make a big move. They move up in the draft twice. My guy broke it all down, broke down the first trade for me on the channel earlier. But then they trade up on draft night, trade for 45 cents, even more cash considerations, and they trade up to pick 36 to take Adou Thiero. I'm Sean Davis. Make sure I hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here to the channel. And I think the Lakers got the steal of the draft, a guy that in Adou Thiero, a 3-year college prospect, played 2 years at Kentucky, highly recruited prospect by Coach John Calipari coming out of high school. Transfer, he actually picked up a bunch of stock following his sophomore season at Kentucky. Could have declared for the NBA draft. Instead, elects to go to Arkansas with Coach John Calipari and has a breakout season at Arkansas. Leads the Arkansas Razorbacks in points per game. Scored 15 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game. If we go per 40 minutes, 22 points and a half boards, nearly 3 assists, 2.4 steals per 40 minutes. Absolute defensive playmaker. Pound for pound, one of, if not the most explosive vertical athletes in the class. Very similar to a guy like a BJ Edgecombe. I think they're probably neck and neck in the class in terms of just vertical leap and vertical pop. And so here's the details really quickly about Adou Thiero. Let's start with the negatives really quickly. The biggest thing with Adou Thiero is clearly just the off the dribble and honestly catch and shoot jump shot. He shot 39.6 true. He had a 39.6 true shooting percentage on catch and shoot jump shots this season. And that's going to be the biggest area for Adou Thiero where he's just going to have to, get better at. His 3-point rate was incredibly low this season for a guy that had a decently high usage rate. Not the usage percentage is the end all be all. Overall, 60.5% true shooting percentage. But his offense is so predominantly based off of transition scoring, playing off of cuts, and just being athletic at the rim. And that is something that is somewhat concerning about Adou Thiero. But man, is literally almost everything else about Adou Thiero what you want from a guy to come in and be an NBA-ready prospect. And I know the comparison is when we hear the comparison of athletic but can't shoot or has shooting concerns, I feel like we immediately associate, as Laker fans, we associate that with Jared Vanderbilt. The biggest key difference between Adou Thiero and a guy like a Jared Vanderbilt, number one, Adou Thiero is actually a really freaking good finisher at the rim, where that's actually what makes Vando really frustrating as an offensive player, is the fact that he's a bad three-point shooter and also damn near equally a bad finisher at will, and has progressively gotten worse in his finishing ability. You can maybe attest some of that to his foot surgeries and some of the injuries that he's dealt with throughout his career, but he's just progressively gotten worse as a finisher. Where Adou Thiero, 63.6% at the rim last season, has a good enough handle to where he can catch and play off the dribble. And he's also a willing playmaker. I think we saw a little bit more of a leap from him this season. Although he could definitely clean up some of the turnovers, he provides more juice. Even though he is not a good shooter, he provides more juice still as a downhill creator. And he's not even going to be asked to do that. A lot of his stuff is going to be playing off the catch and being explosive, driving towards the basket. And that's why, honestly, I'm looking at no ceilings. Their comp firm is Bruce Brown, Jay Crowder. I kind of like it. It maybe is the athleticism, but I think some of the same concerns I feel like were said about a Derrick Jones Jr. Look how kind of he turned out, where you are going to live with the jump shooting to a certain extent with Derrick Jones Jr. But I like Derrick Jones Jr. It's kind of a high end, or not even a high end. I think the highest end comp is kind of OG Anunoby for Adou Thiero. I think as like a median, this kind of went well for us with the 36 overall pick. If he becomes kind of what Derrick Jones has been, specifically the last 2 years in Dallas and for the Clippers this season, a role player that can make decisions off the catch, that if he has to shoot is a reliable 36-ish% three-point shooter off the catch, but a guy that is a freak to play with in transition. You can set him up. If you want to use him as a screener, sure, because he's such a vertical athlete, the defense is going to have to respect that. And then also you combine some of the defensive intangibles he already has day one. he's an excellent defender. I think you see some of the highlight plays specifically with him wrecking havoc as a weak side help defender, whether it's protecting the rim or blowing up passing lanes and things of that nature. So if he's able to to have a more rounded offensive game and the jump shot starts to eventually fall, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's a possibility that he does potentially get to that OG Anunoby highest of high ceilings. But again, if he's Derrick Jones Jr., that's also perfectly okay. I think this is a really, really good role player that could come in and honestly fits the need for this Lakers team really, really badly as another just scrappy, tough wing defender. Like I said, 6'6", 7-foot wingspan, an absolute dog, just competes at a high level. He has a V8 engine on a muscle car. He is truly, a great guy to add to the roster. And we're talking about the build around Luka, Austin, LeBron, and how you build around Luka going forward. I think honestly, the way you look at it is kind of similarly. If we're not going to have the elite rim protecting big like the Lakers had in AD, then the other route is kind of what the Dallas Mavericks did last year. You get your second creator. Okay, cool. Second creator is LeBron/Austin. Cool. Now let's surround him with big athletic wings that can help us out on the defensive end of the floor. And I think Adou Thiero is the perfect comp for that. Again, reminds me a little bit. Maybe it's the athleticism that's just, throwing me off, but reminds me a little bit of Derrick Jones Jr. Maybe that's cheating, but I like that comp a lot. They get an absolute steal. Needs to rev up the three-point volume. Absolutely needs to. He's slightly more willing to shoot the last season, putting up, he shot 1.6 attempts per game last season, only shot 25% from three last season. But gets to the line actually pretty decently as well. Shot 68% from the free throw line, 6.5 attempts as well. And also just great feel for the game offensively away from the ball. 1.64 points per possession off of cuts last season, ranking in the 97th percentile per synergy last season. Shout out Adou Thiero. Like I said, I love this pickup, and I think the Lakers got a steal of the draft. A lot of draft analysts I respect had first-round grades on him. The fit, maybe day one, is a bit clunky depending on how the Lakers really build out this roster. But I think if we're looking at this from a bigger picture and looking at this, how the Lakers need to build out a roster for Luka Doncic, this makes all the sense in the world, in my opinion. And I think the Lakers got the steal of the draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe here to the channel. We'll be back for more Lakers content and coverage tomorrow as we get ready for free agency that kicks off July 6th. So, as always, stay safe. Thank you guys so much for the support. And as always, go Lake Show. Go Lake Show. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.